scores as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Hey, good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. Now, a loaded slate is an understatement today. We've got, 15 games on deck. We're going to go over each and every single one of these games, picks, props, and predictions, and then the recap at the end of the show. So if you don't have time to hang out for the next hour, because that's probably how long it's going to take to get through all of these games, make sure you do come back for the recap. I will put the bookmark out there so you can jump straight to that recap and get things done. Thank you guys for being here, seeing you guys already popping into the chat. Make sure you drop in those chats what you're liking today, where you think we can have value. Now, we were able to get the overtime game last night. That was a great one. I've got another game that I do think will go to overtime tonight. Actually, a couple here on the slate. We're going to kick it off 7:10 Eastern. The games kick off. Now, it's really interesting because we know there's no hockey tomorrow with Thanksgiving. They actually give the players a day off. But because of that, we have a lot of teams on a huge Friday schedule and Saturday schedule with back-to-backs on the Friday and Saturday. And a lot of these teams are either road then home or home then road. No real consistency with home and home or road and road. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams come out of the day off with Thanksgiving. I think a lot of these players will be traveling home to see their family if it's a possibility and if they're able to. And it's going to be hard on that travel situation, especially going in to the Friday. I think teams that play at home today and then play at home on Friday do definitely have an advantage for that Friday game. So we're going to look at all of those different angles that we're looking ahead at already here today. Minnesota Wild taking on the Buffalo Sabres is the first game kicking off. Jo going with the Kraken in regulation. Jo, I know you love that Kraken. Yeah, if you guys can hit that like, share, and retweet button, I would greatly appreciate it. The Minnesota Wild are the favorite on the road at minus 138 over the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres home dog plus 115. Total in this one sitting at 5.5. I'm interested to see how the Buffalo Sabres play their lines here. Tyke Thompson back in the lineup tonight. I do think the Buffalo Sabres as a home dog have every opportunity of getting the win. This line just smells kind of funny to me, you guys. I expected the Minnesota Wild to roll in as closer to a $2 favorite, and because the books are not making them so, it feels like they're begging us to take the Wild in this matchup. I'm not biting. I think the Buffalo Sabres here at home, and we're seeing money come in on the Wild. That line is ticking up. The Wild were a minus 130, now minus 135 favorite. We're seeing the Buffalo Sabres were plus 110, now plus 115. I love them here. I think they have been really strong, firstly, versus Minnesota Wild, winning 7 of the last 10 meetings. The Minnesota Wild coming off that loss. They've lost their last 2 games, the Jets on Monday at home, and that was a 4-1 loss. This is a strong team that bounces back off of those losses. Normally, when they lose a game, they have bounced back and got the win. But I think this is a hard road spot here before Thanksgiving. They're traveling out on the road. They're back home on Friday versus the Blackhawks and the Predators on Saturday. So they do have 2 home games after Thanksgiving. They just want to get here the win. They're taking 1 game on the road before Thanksgiving. So I'm looking for them to play nicely versus Chicago Blackhawks on Friday. Kaprizov, we know he's been rolling so hot and he's been getting those points, getting those goals. But I just think there's something here about Buffalo at home. I'm going to take Rasmus Dahlin for the anytime goal. He's almost coming in at 5-1 to your money. They have also, when we look at the Sabres, they covered the puck line in 7 of the last 7 straight. It's not 7 of the last 10, the last 7 straight versus the Minnesota Wild. So they play in tight games here. The value is sitting on them. I just think this is not a great road spot before Thanksgiving for the Minnesota Wild. Dabby Cab, you guys, if you haven't checked out Dabby Cab, make sure you go and do so. Thanks for joining here today. The New York Rangers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, this is one where the Rangers haven't been playing good. We know that. They're plus 155 on the money line. Screams so much value, right? This team needs a win, and they need it bad. The Carolina Hurricanes are minus 188. Now, the problem here with the New York Rangers, their kill's brilliant. Their kill's coming in at 89.2%. They're allowing only 2.75 goals, but we look at their last 3 games that they have lost. The St. Louis Blues beat them 5-2. So in the last 3 games, they've been allowing these goals to come in. Igor has been kind of shaky in goal. He will be in net tonight for the Rangers. Now the Carolina Hurricanes, off that win at home versus the Stars, they were able to get a 6-4 win. They have the back-to-back loading, home and road. So Friday and Saturday versus the Panthers. They have a really hard matchup versus the Panthers on deck. But this is a Metro divisional rivalry game here. 4th in the Metro for the Rangers, 2nd in the Metro for the Carolina Hurricanes. So they are going to step up here versus the Rangers. You've also got to remember in the regular season in the playoffs last year, the Rangers did eliminate the Carolina Hurricanes. So they will be looking for that payback angle. I just think this is a spot for the Rangers to get right. We know Mika Zibanejad. Everyone keeps saying what's happening to Mika. I don't know what's happening to Mika, but he absolutely needs to step up. So does Panarin. So Mika and Panarin, I think, will be difference makers in this game. Everyone's talking about everyone getting traded away. The Rangers are such a solid team. We were just sitting here a month ago talking about how this is one of the most complete teams in the league. Now losing their last 3, everyone's losing their mind on this team. I'm not ready to sell off on this team. I think the Rangers at plus 155 holds so much value. Now, I would look at Panarin for the anytime goal. He's coming in at plus 150. Mika Zibanejad for the point tonight. It's too juicy at minus 160, but I think Zibanejad does get a point tonight. Riley Smith. I want to say Ryan O'Reilly. He's not even on this team. Riley Smith, his point has value though. So if you want to combine Zibanejad and Riley Smith for the point, you're going to get plus money there. Now, for the last 6 between these two have stayed under that total, but I think if the Rangers win, we push it to the over in this game. Seth Jarvis, we talked about him entering the game in the last matchup out there for Carolina in that game versus the Stars. Seth Jarvis was brilliant out there getting back on that line with Sebastian Aho. Now, I looked at both of them for their points tonight. Seth Jarvis for his points, minus 146. You know I don't like that. And then Sebastian Aho for his point is minus 235. So we can't even take them for a point. They registered, 2 or 3 points each in that last game out versus the Stars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Seth Jarvis and Aho for a point each and parlay together. That's coming in at plus 105 just to find that value. If you're willing to take them for 2+ points, I do think they get there because this is going to be a higher scoring game. I really do think it's a 4-3 or 5-4 game here because we know the Rangers have been giving up huge, their defense has been giving up huge plays to their opponent's offense. So in Carolina, so strong offensively. Vinny, happy Wednesday, Vinny. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to everyone down there in the States. Carolina has covered the puck line at home in 8 straight. They've won and covered that puck line in 8 straight. They want revenge in this one as well. It's risky to take the Rangers at plus 155. We were getting them at plus 128 earlier in the day. So big line movement here. Lots of money coming in on Carolina. It's a scary situation. It really is. 2nd in the Metro here. And the Rangers have been free falling. When we look at the Rangers schedule, they have a back-to-back loading the Friday and Saturday. They have the Flyers on Friday at Philadelphia, and then home Saturday versus Montreal. Okay, the St. Louis Blues, Jordan Binnington. We need him to stand on his head tonight. The St. Louis Blues taking on the New Jersey Devils. Current lines on this, the St. Louis Blues plus 188, minus 230 here for the New Jersey Devils. Now, this total is sitting solid at 5.5. It's juiced to the over, though, you guys. It's minus 140 to the over 5.5 between these two teams. I do think we look at these goaltenders versus the other team. Binnington, okay, he's been so strong in his career versus the Devils. Binnington has a 5-3 record with a 2.52 goals against average and a 916 save percentage versus the New Jersey Devils in his career. We're going to need him to stand on his head tonight. We know the New Jersey Devils bring the heat. They're averaging 30.5 shots on goal per game. Their power play, the St. Louis Blues have to stay out of the freaking box. Their kill is not strong enough to limit the New Jersey Devils in this one. And Binghamton, while he stood on his head, this is a dangerous power play, converting 31.5% of the time. Second best in the league. So Binghamton save shots on goal props. They are not out on FanDuel yet. I'm looking for that number to go over at 28 or 29.5. If the books give you either of those numbers, take it to the over. If the books have this at 30.5, I would be very cautious. But the St. Louis Blues do allow 29.2 shots on goal per game. I'm expecting here the New Jersey Devils to put at least 35 shots on Binghamton in this game tonight. I expect them to bring that heat on him. Now, if Binghamton can stand on his head like I think he can, the St. Louis Blues have every opportunity of winning this. They're off that win versus New York Rangers. And yes, the Rangers are struggling, but they were able to go 5-2 in that game, really limiting the Rangers offensively and lighting the lamp. When we look at the St. Louis Blues plus 1.5 on the puck line, we're starting to lose value. It was closer to minus 130 earlier in the morning. It's now minus 140 plus 1.5 on the St. Louis Blues. That money line is coming in at plus 188. It was plus 192. So line movement slightly on the money line. I still like the money line here for the St. Louis Blues. I think they have every opportunity. Now, when we look at the Devils, they've won the last 5 meetings versus a central opponent at home. We've got the St. Louis Blues sitting 6th in the Central. So they have been strong in these cases. This team is first in the Metro. They won their last 3. Home on Monday, they were able to beat the Predators 5-2. Now, when we look at their Friday, Saturday games, this team again is loading on that back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. They're at the Red Wings on Friday and they're home on Saturday versus the Capitals. I could see if this one isn't a letdown, the Friday being a letdown versus the Red Wings at home, just because they'll be looking ahead for sure to that battle with the Capitals. The Capitals, such a stronger team than the Red Wings. So that could be a situation here. When we look at the St. Louis Blues, they need every win they can get. They're off till Saturday. So this team plays today on the road. They don't have to play on Friday. They're one of the lucky teams. I do think that gives them a huge boost on Saturday. They play the Flyers at home on Saturday. And then you look, they've got a Canadian road trip on deck. So they've got a really hard schedule after Saturday's game. That will kick off, I believe it's on Tuesday. They will face the Winnipeg Jets, the Flames, the Oilers, the Vancouver Canucks. And that's over the next 2 weeks. So it's pretty spread out. But it's a big trip. People forget how far across the country you really have to go from Winnipeg to Vancouver. So it's going to be an interesting one. The Devils did win the last matchup, but we saw the St. Louis Blues win the 3 prior and 18 of the last 23 meetings. So the St. Louis Blues, when we look at over history, really have dominated this matchup. Jacob Markstrom versus the St. Louis Blues also doesn't have great numbers, you guys. So looking at the goaltenders, Binghamton definitely has been the stronger of the 2 versus each team. Markstrom versus St. Louis Blues, 4-9-2 with a 3 goals against average and an 887 save percentage. So he's under 900 versus the Blues. I'm going to roll with the St. Louis Blues to pull off the upset, you guys. Again, I'll be doing the recap at the end of the show. So if you don't have time to hang out, I will get that bookmark out for you guys. We're on to the 4th game here. The Boston Bruins are taking on the New York Islanders. Now, this one kicking off weird time, 7:39 on the dot. This puck is meant to drop 7:38 for a couple of these other games. I find it interesting they don't put it on the 40 mark. So the Boston Bruins coming in at plus 108. The New York Islanders at minus 130. Total 5.5. Minus 118 to the under. You're getting minus 104 to the over. I look for this one to stay under that total. The Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders really do lock down on the defensive side of the puck. Korpisalo is in net tonight for Boston, and he's actually been the stronger goaltender of the goaltending tandem there between Swayman and Korpisalo. It's like Swayman got paid and then forgot to play hockey. Like he forgot how to stop those pucks from coming in his net. He just hasn't been playing the stronger. Korpisalo has a 2-4-1 record on the season with a 911 save percentage and a 2.38 goals against average. So I do think Korpisalo can really limit the Flyers, who don't put up a lot of goals per game, only averaging 2.45. They have a weak power play. Both of these teams actually do. Both of these teams, power plays are only clicking at 12.7% of the time. The kill is so weak here for the Islanders. They're only killing 70.2% of their opponent's power plays. So we do see Boston with the advantage there. They have a stronger kill. Their kills coming in right around 77%. Now we know Boston has been rolling hotter since firing their coach. They won 2, but they did lose last night to the Vancouver Canucks. We were able to get Vancouver covering that reverse puck line, as Vancouver was the dog in that one. So hopefully you guys cashed that. Like, what was it? Plus 245, I believe that reverse puck line was on Vancouver last night. Hopefully you guys were able to cash that with me. But second night of a back-to-back here for Boston. Now they have a game on Friday at home versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then they play on Sunday. So they don't have the back-to-back, but they've got 2 games Friday and then on Sunday versus Montreal. So that is their schedule going forward. They're sitting 5th in the Atlantic, 5th in the Metro here for the Islanders. I do think it's a lower scoring game. I do think defense and goaltending rule this one. Sorokin in net for the Isles. The first period under 1.5 goals, minus 128. I love. The Isles team total under 2.5 at plus 120 is another bet I feel really confident in. I think the Boston Bruins could win this 3-2, keeping this one under that total. I have more faith in Korpisalo in this matchup and the offense here of the Boston Bruins. We know the Bruins offense can open up at any time. Brad Marchand here has been so strong. And David Pastrnak, I think you look at those two players. Pastor for the anytime goal at plus 125 holds so much value. Now, Boston did a phenomenal job of holding Vancouver last night to only 15 shots on goal. The fact Vancouver was able to win that in a 2-0 game when they only had 15 shots on goal was so impressive. So they got those high danger shots. In the first period, Boston held Vancouver, that has a high octane offense. It gets those shots to only 3. Second and third period, 6 shots in each of those. So I'm looking for Boston to be able to do the same. Now, second night of a back-to-back, yes, we'll see a little bit more of tired legs out of the Boston Bruins on the defensive side of things. But you look at the Islanders, this is not a team that I'm too worried about on the offensive side. They have a lack of production offensively. So the Isles team total under 2.5, we're getting plus money at plus 120. So Pastor for the anytime goals coming in right around plus 130. If you really want to take someone for the Isles, it'd be Anders Lee for me. He's coming in at plus 210. He's playing well on that top line for the Isles. Rangers money line, it is first time subscriber. Thank you, Jay Stone. Appreciate you being here today. So let's go over the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus has been playing some great games as of late, you guys. Monahan at home is an automatic circle for me for the anytime goal. Let me just find the lines here on FanDuel. This one kicking off at 7:41. The Columbus Blue Jackets at home are a minus 178 favorite. Montreal coming in at plus 146 here on the road. Total 6.5, minus 128 to the over 6.5 and plus 104 to the under in this one. When we look here at goaltending, it's a huge concern for me for Montreal. Premier's confirmed in net. He's 1-2-1 on the season with a 4.59 goals against average and an 8.42 save percentage. It's not pretty, you guys. The defense of Montreal also doesn't give their goaltending a lot of support, allowing 30.1 shots on goal per game. This team has a strong kill. Their kill's 83.3% of the time. If this defense could play like it does on the PK, they would be phenomenal out here, but they just don't show up on that 5-on-5 hockey. They're allowing those goals to come in, average of 3.76 versus the Columbus team that really has been scoring a lot as of late. I do think Columbus puts up those goals tonight. They won their last 2. They got the shootout win actually versus the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday. They put up 5 goals on the Canes, you guys. They got the overtime win versus the Lightning on last Thursday. That was a 7-6 one. And yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been having those struggles, allowing those goals to come in. But between Tampa and Carolina, to put up that many goals versus those opponents is impressive. I like what we've seen out of them. Their last 3 games, they've scored 17 goals in total, allowing only 11. Now, this is a big, okay, we could see an uptick here for Montreal. Patrick Laine is traveling with the team. He will be here for this game. Will he play or not? That is the question mark. Now, he's going to be part of this whole road trip. So it's Columbus, then New York, and then Boston. So Patrick Laine, when we see him get back out on the ice, we are going to look at his points. You guys stay tuned to see if Patrick Laine is in that lineup tonight. Now, we know Montreal shifted some lines. Cole Caulfield put down to the second line. I actually like what we've seen with Cole Caulfield down on that second line. I do think second night of a back-to-back here. They lost last night to Utah in overtime. You're going to see Cole Caulfield come out just with so much oomph in this game. I could see him getting that first goal. I could see him getting the anytime goal at plus 200 as well. So we just look here. Columbus so strong at home, 7-3 at home this season. And we look here at Montreal, 2-6-1 on the road. So I can't trust Montreal to get the win. Now, we have seen 2 overtime games for Columbus, their last 2 games. We saw overtime for Montreal last night. So Montreal played last night. We haven't seen Columbus since I believe it was Monday. So Columbus off an overtime game has won their first period in their last 6. So if you just want to look at Columbus in the first period here to go up nice and strong. Concerning with the Columbus Blue Jackets, because Montreal has won the last 6 meetings, but my problem here with Montreal, if it was Sam Montembeault, maybe I could see him standing on his head. I just can't trust Premier's. So I'm going to fade Premier's in this one. I'm going to take Columbus's team total. Columbus's team total over 3.5 goals. You guys is coming in at minus 118. Win or lose. If Montreal wins this, it's because it's a 5-4 win for the Montreal Canadiens, but I could see it just as well being a 4-3 win for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So either way, in my mind, we do see Columbus put up 4 goals in this one. Like I said, last 3 games, 17 goals, 11 allowed. So Patrick Laine, though, I tell you, I can't wait for him to get out on the ice. So much talent out there. Now, Columbus has been trending to that over in these games as well, 13-6-1. To the over on the season. So if you just want to look at this game and take it over the 6.5, it's coming in at minus 128. And I do think that still, even though it's juicy, holds value. Okay. My Calgary Flames are then in action versus the Detroit Red Wings. Now, the Detroit Red Wings are a live betting team. You look at this team, they never give up. We were able to get them, and hopefully you guys took them pregame when we took the Detroit Red Wings versus the Isles. They were coming in as a dog, and then the Isles went up in that. I jumped on Sports Rage with Gabe Morency, and we went back in on the Red Wings at plus 240 something, 240 and change, and they were able to come back and get that win. So they're a team to look at to come back when they go down a goal. The books always give you great plus money on them, and they're really able to fight back. Now, facing Calgary tonight, this is a straight pick up, minus 110 either way. The Calgary Flames off that loss to the Ottawa Senators in a game they went up, and then the Sens came back and got the win. This total sitting at 5.5, minus 104 to the under, minus 118 to the over. I'm just going to look here at the Red Wings. I don't know how this plays out total-wise, you guys. Cam Talbot has been strong versus the Flames in his career. And if Cam Talbot comes out nice and strong, especially with what we've seen out of Calgary as a road dog, they've lost their last 7 games. I just can't put my money here on them. This team is so surprising, though, this season. I know it's my team, and I'm really impressed with them. They're sitting second in the Pacific. I don't know if they finish second in the Pacific. This is a team that we all expected to be in a rebuild this season, but they've been really stepping up. They've been lighting the lamp, and Dustin Wolf has got them a ton of wins. Dustin Wolf started the last game versus the Ottawa Senators. We've seen his wins really come at home. He's been the stronger of the 2 goalies. Dan Vladar, though, in net tonight, he's 4-4-2 with a 2.68 goals against average and a 903 save percentage. So I really do think the Red Wings are going to score on Dan Vladar. As long as the Red Wings can stay out of the box, they can win this one because they have a very weak PK. Their PK coming in at 68.4%. So with Calgary only scoring on the power play 19.4, it's still enough to push Calgary to the win if the Red Wings play dirty out there. And now, Looking at the schedule, we got Calgary off that loss 4-3 versus the Sens. They do have the back-to-back loading Friday. They will be at the Columbus Blue Jackets and then at the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday. So they have 2 more road games on deck. You'd expect some of these players to be traveling to see family for tomorrow's Thanksgiving celebrations. When we look here at the Red Wings, they're off a comeback win versus the Isles, like we talked about. They were able to get the 4-2 win after going down. They are home on Friday versus the Devils. I like teams that are playing here at home and then playing on Friday at home. They have no angst to let's get this game over because we need to get home. They are at home. They'll travel. Maybe they're traveling, though, to different places. That is for sure. But it's the consistency of we're home here. Maybe they go to see family somewhere, or family's coming into town to see them, but they're home on Friday. So I like that home and home between today and Friday for these teams. And I do think they get the edge in these matchups on the Thanksgiving Eve. So Red Wings, they won the last 4 meetings. And in the last 4 meetings that they have won, they've been able to put up 5 or more goals. So the Red Wings have been struggling, though, to get those goals on the board. We know they're only averaging 2.52 goals per game. So I wanted to take their team total over 3.5, but I was kind of leery of that. I do see Dan Vladar, though, allowing those goals to come in. Again, I think Dustin Wolf is the stronger of the goaltenders, and I think Calgary is going to be ready to hit the road to get out of this game here and go either back to Calgary or on to wherever they're celebrating Thanksgiving. So I do think the Red Wings could have that offensive production, but I think it's safer just to take them there on the money line. DeBrusk, you got to love what Jake DeBrusk was able to do for us yesterday versus his former team. We got that plus money on him. That is for sure. Let's move over to the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now Vancouver on the second night of the back-to-back, pulling off the upset win as the dog last night. Let me see if I can find the lines here for you. 1 million games, you guys. Okay. This one kicking off at 7:39. Minus 118 here for the Vancouver Canucks. The Pittsburgh Penguins, the home dog at minus 102. Total of 6.5. Now the 6.5 juice to the over, or positive to the over, plus 102. Juice to the under at minus 124. When we look at these two teams, we saw Vancouver be completely limited out there by the Boston Bruins last night for their ability to get those shots. Like I told you, Boston held them to 3 shots in the first, 6 in the second, and 6 in the third. That won't happen tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins do not lock down on defense like the Boston Bruins are trying to do. They allow 32.7 shots on goal per game. Vancouver is going to open up in this game. I see this one being a high-scoring affair. I'm actually shocked we're getting plus money to the over. Sidney Crosby got goal 600 in his last game out versus Utah, but he got the only goal of the game. And then Utah scored 6 freaking goals, you guys. Poor Sid. You get goal 600. You're all excited. You want to celebrate. And then your team gets absolutely ran over 6-1. So not that huge celebration that Pittsburgh was hoping for. Now backup goaltender in for the Vancouver Canucks, Silos. He's 1-3-1 on the season with a 3.91 goals against average and an .857 save percentage. So I'm counting on the Pittsburgh Penguins to be able to hit him in this game. This is a team that has been struggling to get those goals on the board, but against a backup goaltender, I'm expecting them to come in. Nedeljkovic is expected here for the Penguins, and we know the Penguins' huge issues have been defense and goaltending this season. I think we look at the first period. Both teams to score in the first period coming in at plus 154. You can't bet the over. Well, you could bet the over 1.5, but I don't want to. It's too much juice. It's coming in at minus 134. I think both teams come out nice and hot in that first period, especially you look at Vancouver and how they were really limited in that first period versus Boston. You got to think they come out strong. Second night of back-to-back is a weakness for defenses and then backup goaltender. I think this one has the opportunity of going to overtime because I think the Penguins get the last change and they have a little bit of an advantage here not playing their second night of a back-to-back, and they need that bounce back, right? They've lost their last 3 games. They have the back-to-back loading. They're at the Bruins on Friday and then home on Saturday versus the Flames. I think they get railroaded by the Boston Bruins on Friday. we see Vancouver Friday at Buffalo. So Vancouver stays out on the road. We'll see this team where they're going to be traveling to. With that look ahead with travel, with having to get either home or somewhere for tomorrow's Thanksgiving celebrations, I could see Vancouver losing this one today after handing it to the Boston Bruins last night. I'm not going to take it, though. I could see it playing out that way, that the Penguins break this losing streak. Overtime coming in at plus 310. I think it's that tight of a battle. 2 of the last 4 meetings, you guys, have been 1-goal game. Or sorry, the last 4 meetings have been 1-goal games, and 2 of the last 4 have gone to overtime. So that overtime bet plus 310. This is the same value we were getting for that Montreal game last night to go to overtime at plus 310. As soon as I see the books taking an overtime bet from plus 380 or plus 350 to plus 310, they are trying to limit their risk out there, taking it only at plus 310. These plus 310 overtime bets are hitting for us every time that we've done them in the last week. So overtime in this one at plus 310 between these 2 teams. That's the Vancouver Canucks and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, the Washington Capitals, you guys. We are almost halfway through this. The Washington Capitals taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. 7:40 game. I tell you, you're going to have every single device in your house going, those quad boxes up to watch all of these games tonight. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Again, no hockey tomorrow, but I am on the grid from 4 o'clock to 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you come over and join me. I'll be working with Tom. We're going to have a lot of fun talking all of NFL and college football action. So the Washington Capitals plus 126 underdogs on the road versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning minus 152. The Lightning off that win over the Colorado Avalanche that made Georgiev have a tantrum like he was a 3-year-old after the Tampa Bay Lightning put up 5 goals in the first. Then they scored their next goal on him. He was yanked out of there and he threw his stick. He looked like Jordan Binnington. And someone said this in one of the comments on YouTube. And I was like, I didn't want to say it first. And now since someone else said it, Jordan Binnington, I always told you, like last season, I was waiting for that emotional outburst. We didn't see it last season out of Jordan Binnington. We saw it the season before. And same with Elvis. Both of those goaltenders can get hot under the collar. Georgiev has been the first goaltender this season to get hot under the collar like that. So it was crazy to see him whip his stick like that. This total sitting at 6.5 minus 124 to the under. And I'm actually shocked. It's minus 124 to the under because of the fact that we've seen Tampa give up those goals as well. This is a team that's allowing 3 goals per game, 28.3 shots on net. Both of these teams are putting up the goals in bunches. Like I said, Tampa's coming off that win versus Colorado, which they destroyed them. 8-2 win, 5 goals in the first period. Back-to-back loading for this team as well. Friday, they are on the road versus the Predators. They're home on Saturday versus the Leafs. I could see it being a letdown versus the Predators just because the Leafs game on Saturday. You got to remember these teams really circle those games on the Saturday. The Washington Capitals here sitting 3rd in the Metro. They have the back-to-back loading as well. They're home on Friday versus the Isles and then the road on Saturday versus the Devils. I actually think they're going to play strong versus the Isles on Friday. I like the fact that they will be traveling home and then staying home for their next game after Thanksgiving. Charlie Lindgren expected in net here for the Washington Capitals, and he's been strong on the season. I'm really questioning why the books have made the Washington Capitals the underdog at plus 126. It feels like they're trying to throw us in the wrong direction. This team has been strong on the road. They've won their last 5 road games. I'm not stepping off of the Washington Capitals here. Give me the Caps at plus 126. It was plus 120 earlier. They've covered the puck line in their last 6 games as well. So this is a game where I could see that reverse puck line coming into play. Let me just get you the reverse puck line on this game because I don't have it. I don't have it in the top of my head. Reverse puck line for this one. First period. Okay. Alt puck lines. There is so many different things you can bet over on FanDuel, you guys. Alt puck line plus 285 for the Caps on the reverse puck line. That is something I am going to bet as soon as we are actually right now. The reverse puck line for the Washington Capitals plus 285. Let's hit that one. Okay. There we go. So we did see Tampa win that last meeting, and they won their last 4 first periods as a home favorite. So if you want to bet on Tampa, you could look at Tampa coming out strong in that first period, getting that first goal in the first period. But I do think Washington will answer back. So I'm a little leery of that first period bet on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's look at the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Nashville Predators. The Flyers and the Predators kick off at 8:10. Flyers coming in as a dog on the road plus 150. The Preds minus 182. Total of 5.5. The juice to the total is on the over 5.5 at minus 128 and plus 104 to the under. I think the Preds can get this win at home. The Predators are too juiced, though, on the money line. The puck line here for the Predators, minus 1.5 coming in at plus 142, is definitely where I'm going to look in this one. They have won 4 of the last 5 meetings, and these teams do play in tight games. We've seen the Flyers cover the puck line in their last 5 games as a road underdog versus a Central, which the Preds are a Central opponent, and we are seeing the Flyers as the underdog. But I do think the Preds are able to get it done in this one. So I don't know. This one is a difficult one. The Flyers have been playing better offensively. We know the Predators have struggled offensively, only averaging 2.36 goals per game. Saros expected in net for them tonight. They've got one of the best kills. Actually, I think it's the best kill in the league at 90.5%. But defense on that 5-on-5, again, struggles to contain their opponents. So they're getting hit hard by those forechecks, and their defense isn't able to get those turnovers that they need in their zone. So it's a long shot here with the Preds to win on the puck line, laying 1.5 at plus 138. But Philip Forsberg has been strong. Yossi has been strong. He's got 17 points, 4 goals, and 13 assists. Forsberg, 17 points, 9 goals, 8 assists. And Ryan O'Reilly here, 12 points, 3 goals, and 9 assists. Don't forget Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault. So this team has so much talent, and this is a frustrating thing. You look at all of this talent out there, and they should be so much stronger offensively and defensively, and it's just not converting. I think there's a couple struggles out there with these lines, and I do think they need to shift a couple more times. But against this Flyers team, I'm looking for them to have success today, you guys. Let's move on. 8:30 Eastern. We're almost at the 10 o'clock slot. We have at 8:30 Eastern, the Dallas Stars taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. The Chicago Blackhawks, a huge dog here at home, plus 198. The Dallas Stars coming in at minus 245, the biggest favorite of the day. Total of 5.5, minus 142 to the over, and plus 116 to the under. Now we know the Dallas Stars are so strong offensively. This is offensively and defensively. I love their defense. So this defense is only allowing 2.5 goals per game, 27.1 shots on goal, and their kills 82.8%. Jake Ottinger in net, we know he can absolutely stand on his head. And then we look at the Chicago Blackhawks. This team has struggled offensively. They struggled defensively. Peter Mrazek, though, he's solid. Like, he's got okay numbers. He doesn't get enough support from his defense. I think we get the upset here. Dallas has won 7 of the last 8 meetings. They won on November 7th, 3-1. They're off a loss to the Carolina Hurricanes on Monday, 6-4. Should be a bounce back spot, right? Game 3 on the road. They're home Friday versus the Avs. I think this is the end of a road trip here. They're ready to go home for Thanksgiving. I think this is a letdown spot for the Dallas Stars. I think Chicago wins it. This is going to be the upset of the day here. Connor Bedard for the anytime goal at plus 280. Because I'm a little leery of taking Chicago straight up on the money line because it's fucking crazy at plus 198. I will sprinkle a little bit, half a unit on the plus 198, and then I'll put the other half a unit on the Chicago Blackhawks for over 2.5 goals. If they're winning this, for some reason, they find a way to hit Ottinger today in this game. They're not going to win in a 1-0 game. They won't be able to lock down defensively strong enough to stop the Dallas Stars. Rupe Hintz, all the playmakers here for Dallas. If Chicago wins this, it's a higher scoring affair where something happens to the defense of the Stars. They are ready to eat turkey. They're overlooking here the Chicago Blackhawks. They're already looking ahead to that home game versus the Avs, in which they definitely want to win. Now, this is a battle of the Central, so you would think that they wouldn't look past Chicago, but I think it is going to happen. So the over 2.5 goals for the Chicago Blackhawks a team that averages under 2.5 goals. It's fucking crazy, you guys, but it's plus 108. I think we see more effort out of the Chicago Blackhawks here. They're off that road loss to the Flyers in overtime on Saturday, 3-2. So this is Wednesday. They're rested. They're at home. They're on the road on Friday. So there's no rush to get home tonight for Thanksgiving. There's no planes to catch. I think Chicago can get it done tonight. We have seen these teams trend to the under. 6 of the last 8 have gone under that total. Yeah, those line mates keep shifting. I do think, Scott, you're right with the shifting with Connor Bedard. I do think we will see Connor Bedard to be able to get the anytime goal. Let me just let you guys know Chicago's lines. What we're looking at for those lines. They keep changing all the time. So Tyler Hall and Khrushchev on that top line with Connor Bedard. You see Bertuzzi move down and Teravainen to that second line with Donando. So that is where you're looking. When we look at the power play, Connor Bedard is still on that top line for the power play with Bertuzzi and Teravainen. The power play is clicking for Chicago at 20.8%. The kill is strong here for the Dallas Stars. But again, I think they're overlooking this game here. They're ready to go home and have some turkey. So I know I'm ready to have turkey. I'm up here in Canada, you guys, and we're so blessed in Canada to be able to have double Thanksgiving. We do. We celebrate your Thanksgiving as well. I don't know if a lot of you know that. Well, anyone that loves football does, really, and anyone that loves America does too. So I will be having my turkey, but because I'm on the grid 4 to 8, I decided to push it to Friday. So we'll celebrate Thanksgiving late up here. I'll be on the grid on Friday as well, but 10 my time, noon to 2 Eastern. Okay, Vegas versus Colorado. You guys, we've got into the later window finally. We've got the Vegas Golden Knights as the underdog versus the Colorado Avalanche. The Avs, who got absolutely destroyed by the Tampa Bay Lightning, are minus 170 favorites. The puck line here, the Avs minus 1.5 on the puck line, plus 140, plus 1.5 for Vegas. You can't even touch. It's minus 172 plus a 1.5. This total sitting at 6.5, minus 120, and rightly so. The Avs have proven that they can give up a ton of goals. Georgiev expected back in net tonight. We know he's off that temper tantrum. He wants a bounce back so bad. But against the Vegas Golden Knights, that's a hard spot to bounce back. I know Vegas has had those struggles on the road, but they've proven me wrong. They won their last 3. They got the shutout win versus the Flyers on their last game. Or sorry, a shootout. It wasn't a shutout. Shootout win. It was a 5-4 win for them. So they've been allowing these goals to come in as well, allowing the Flyers to put up 4 goals. I think this one goes over. You know, their captain, Nathan MacKinnon, is going to be so upset with that last loss. I think you look at him for 2+ points. 2+ points for Nathan MacKinnon here at home at plus 120. The last time these teams matched up, Vegas did win 8-4 back in October. Now I'm looking at the first period. The first period over 1.5. You can't bet. It's coming in at minus 150, too highly juiced. But both teams to score in the first period, I think, is a really solid way to go. That's coming in at plus 148. Even in that loss in the last game to the Tampa Bay Lightning, we saw the Avs still score in that first period. They put up 1 goal. Yes, Tampa put up 5. So could we see the same thing here? We absolutely could. If Georgiev is in his head, we know the Vegas Golden Knights can score. They're averaging 3.86 goals per game. Their power play clicking at 30.9% of the time. And the kill is weak here. For Colorado, the kill is 71.9%. We do have a strong power play here for the Avs as well. 29% conversion rate against an okay kill for Vegas at 76.9. The goals are coming in this game. Nathan MacKinnon for 2+ points, go over the 6.5. Both teams to score in the first period. And then I think you look at the goal scorers. Jack Eichel here for the anytime goal at plus 165. First goal for Vegas, and this is something you can do. Instead of just taking the first goal of the game, you can take the first goal for a certain team. So the first goal for Vegas for Jack Eichel coming in at plus 600. If you want to take him for the first goal of the game, it's like plus 12 and change, but I like him for the first goal for Vegas in case we do see the Avs score first. Jack Eichel, anytime goal plus 165. First goal for Vegas at plus 600. Now, when I look here at the Avs, I do think Nathan MacKinnon is a play on tonight, but I like Rantanen here to come out for the anytime goal at plus 110. First goal for the Avs at plus 470. So I'm going to play all 4 of those. You guys, we are making our way through. Yeah, the Blackhawks are going to score tonight, right? It is crazy to think against them, but I do think Chicago comes out nice and strong in this one. It's going to be fucking crazy out there. The Anaheim Ducks taking on, are we there? Yeah. No, the Winnipeg Jets. We got to talk the Winnipeg Jets versus the LA Kings. The LA Kings coming off being schooled by the San Jose Sharks, you guys. We were riding the Sharks in that one. Hopefully you rode them with me. You got to ride those ugly dogs when you can. The Sharks were in a clear look ahead to this matchup here with the Winnipeg Jets. You look at these teams that have been playing solid. When they face that weaker opponent with a stronger opponent on deck, they really do look ahead, and especially when their schedule has been hard. So in this matchup, the Winnipeg Jets are minus 114. Minus 105 here for the LA Kings at home. Total 5.5. Now the juice is to the under 5.5 at minus 118. The LA Kings have been struggling offensively, but one thing that we have seen is Kopitar really step up. Kopitar has 4 multi-point games in his last 7. So I think you look at Kopitar again here for 2+ points at plus 285. I know that both of these teams play really strong defense, but if the Kings are going to get anything done, Kopitar is going to be in goal, involved, not in goal. Involved is the word I'm looking for. Either by the way of a goal or an assist or 2 goals, 2 assists. Like he's going to be in play of those points coming, those goals coming for the LA Kings. So I'm going to take Kopitar for 2+ points. That's coming in at plus 285. I do think the LA Kings have every opportunity of bouncing back in this one. Again, the Kings straight up on the money line. We have seen some movement. They were minus 110 earlier, now minus 105. So the Winnipeg Jets are moving into that favorite role. Connor Hellebuck expected in net for them. They've scored 3 or more goals in 15 of their last 19 games. So offensively, the Winnipeg Jets have been playing great. David Rittich is a concern here for the LA Kings. He's got an 883 save percentage. So we need better out of him in this one, but I expect the Kings to really lock down defensively. This team is the best at limiting their opponent's ability to get those shots on goal, holding the opponents to 24.5 shots on goal per game. They need to stay out of the box, though, because the Winnipeg Jets, we know they can score on the power play 33.8% of the time, and the kill is only 79.5% here for the LA Kings. So this is game 4 on the road for the Winnipeg Jets. They're at Vegas on Friday. They're traveling, you guys, for Thanksgiving. I know it's a Canadian team, but so many American players on this team. They're going to be traveling to family or back home and then back out to Vegas. So I do think the LA Kings hold the advantage, especially off a loss. LA Kings have back-to-back loading. They're at the Anaheim Ducks on Friday, not a long trip. And then at home versus the Senators on Saturday. This team sitting 3rd in the Pacific. So we have seen the Winnipeg Jets cover the puck line their last 5 as a road favorite. I just don't see it happening in this one. Let me know what you're thinking. 3-2, LA Kings win it. I love that we are on the page. Yeah, it should be a scrappy, low-scoring game. I do agree with you. And the Blues on the money line. You can love those Blues and what we're seeing out of them. Let's look at the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Seattle Kraken. We're on to this game, you guys. The Anaheim Ducks are the dog on the road at plus 168. Are they quacking tonight? Well, this team plays in such low-scoring games, you guys. Very, very tight games. We just did see this matchup. Again, Seattle won. They didn't cover the puck line. They're a $2 favorite. They're minus 205. Total 5.5, minus 120 to the over. The puck line here for the Seattle Kraken minus 1.5 at plus 128. Plus 1.5 here for the Anaheim Ducks at minus 158. I like the Ducks to keep this tight, but again, this is a hard situation to take them to keep it tight with the juice that you have to buy. I can't grab them plus 1.5. Even though I think it wins because it's minus 158. So I guess kind of a parlay piece. We just saw this matchup with the Kraken winning 3-2. Could the Ducks answer back? It's hard because Seattle keeps winning against the Ducks. They've won the last 8. Joey Daccord expected and Gibson here. I think it's worth a look here on the Ducks. They've got the Kings on deck on Friday. Back-to-back loading here for the Seattle Kraken. They're on the road and then at home Friday and Saturday versus the Sharks. So they've got 2 weeks. Well, the one opponent, 2 weaker games ahead of them as well. The Seattle Kraken haven't been scoring a lot of goals, and we have seen Anaheim be solid on that defensive side of things as well. So I think you look at another under 5.5, another 3-2 game. If you think the Seattle Kraken can do it in reg, then that would be a stronger bet. This could go to overtime though. The Ducks could push this one to OT. So not my favorite game of the night, you guys. Kraken in reg. I know, Joe, you told me Kraken in regulation. That is where you go with that one. Okay, the Ottawa Senators taking on the San Jose Sharks. You guys, we are at the last game of the day. The Sharks have been barking, and I think they're barking again tonight. Plus 180 here for the San Jose Sharks. The Ottawa Senators, a 220 favorite, minus 220 on that money line. Total 6.5, minus 140 to the under, plus 114 to the over. I think this is a 4-3 win for the San Jose Sharks. I will take it over that total at plus 114. Neither of these defenses have been playing really strong. We look at Mackenzie Blackwood, and he has been keeping the Sharks in some of these games, but still allowing those goals to come in. The kill is strong for the Sharks. Celebrini has been playing elite out there on the ice. Tyler Toffoli, Leo Carlson. I like what the Sharks bring to the table. They are 5-1 at home this season, and the Ottawa Senators have won 2 of their last 10 games. They're 3-6 on the road this season, and you're telling me they're a $2 favorite? No freaking way am I putting money on this team. I think your safest, which there's no safe betting, we all know that, bet is to take the over 6.5 at plus 114, but I like the Sharks, so you can take the Sharks plus 1.5. Live right now at minus 142 on that puck line. I don't think you need it. I think they can get another win. We look at the Ottawa Senators here. They're off that win versus Calgary. They fought back to get the win 4-3. They got a back-to-back on Saturday at the LA Kings and then on Sunday at the Ducks. So they're going to want to finish off this game, get back home for Thanksgiving. They don't have to play till Saturday. They're going to be pretty happy with themselves here in the spot. One off-road game before Thanksgiving. They got to travel here. They got to travel back home. The San Jose Sharks are off the win versus the Kings. They got those goals. They got the momentum. They're playing great hockey right now. They're getting those turnovers. So I like them. We've seen the Ottawa Senators lose the last 4 periods on the road as a favorite. So if you just want to look at the Sharks in the first period to come out nice and strong, I like them on the money line in the first period as well. And we've also seen the Ottawa Senators fail to cover the puck line in their last 7 as a favorite. So they're coming out in this favorite position. Again, we do have to lay the juice at minus 142 to the Sharks, but I do think it's a solid way to go. I like the money line better, you guys. I don't think we need it. First period over for the Boston game. That's actually a pretty good look because we know both of those teams want to open up. Let's get this freaking money today, you guys. It is time for a recap. You guys, everyone who's joined me for the last 52, 53 minutes, thank you for being here this whole time. I need a sip of coffee. We're going to recap all of these games. There's so much action today. I'm super excited for it all to kick off. All kicking off at 7 o'clock Eastern. We're rolling all the way through into the late hours of the night. Live betting opportunities for a lot of these games as well. So when you're looking at a team to be able to get the win and they go down a couple goals based on how they're playing out there, looking at those lives, because I swear, live betting in hockey, the overreaction by the books is crazy compared to any other sport. They're overreacting and you can get such value. Like the Red Wings, like I told you guys, the Red Wings came in to that game versus the Isles as what? A plus 120 underdog. They went down a goal and the books put them plus 245. It was plus 240 and change, down 1 goal. And there was plenty of time left in the game. So let me know your favorite plays in the chat here. I see so many of you guys, and I see so many of you guys live watching. If you can hit that like, retweet, and share, hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. I would so appreciate it, you guys. I'm going to have one sip. Promise we're going to do the recap here at the 55-minute mark. Let's let this next 40 seconds tick down. Hang on. Okay, we can kick it off. Recap time, you guys. Whew, it's a lot of games to recap. Hopefully, I don't miss anything here in the recap. I will do my best to get all of these bets. Some of these lines have shifted a little bit. So if you're seeing movement in the lines, Don't worry about that. There will be a little bit of movement though. And so the Minnesota Wild, from when we've been talking, I've been seeing these lines move a couple of points either way. The Minnesota Wild taking on the Buffalo Sabres. First game, recap time. The Sabres, I love them here as a home dog. They've been still strong versus the Wild in their meetings. And I think even though the Wild are strong at bouncing back off that loss, that the Buffalo Sabres with Tag Thompson back in the lineup can get the win here at home. I don't like the scheduling spot for the Wild here with Thanksgiving. I think it's a bad spot for them. I'm going to take Rasmus Dahlin for the anytime goal at plus 490 and change. The New York Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes. The Rangers have to get back on deck here, or back on track here before Thanksgiving. I'm going to take the Rangers to get the win. We're getting at plus 155 here for the Rangers, a team that I really do have faith in. Panarin needs to come out and score, though. He's coming in at plus 150. Zibanejad needs to wake up. Getting Zibanejad for the point tonight, it's juicy, but you could parlay that with something else. I do like Seth Jarvis, though, and Sebastian Aho. I like that combination, what we saw out of those two players in the last game, racking up those points together. So Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho, two combined for a point each, parlay together is minus 105. I like that bet. The St. Louis Blues and the New Jersey Devils, give me the Blues here to come out nice and strong. I think they're able to get the win over the New Jersey Devils. This is a team that they have been strong in the past. We are seeing the Blues plus 1.5 at minus 130 on the money line, with the money line sprinkle at plus 195. It's all going to come down to Jordan Binnington and if he can stand on his head, and if the Blues can hit Markstrom like they have done so in the past. Jordan Binnington saves shots on goal prop 28 or 29.5. I will take that to the over. Like I said prior, I expect at least 35 shots out of the Devils on Binnington in this game tonight. So the Devils did win the last matchup, but the Blues won 3 prior. The Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders. First period under 1.5 at minus 128. I know a couple of you liking that over. You would think both of these teams would come out nice and strong, but I trust in Korpisalo in that first period to really stand on his head here versus the Isles, and Sorokin in net for the Isles tonight. Neither of these teams really have been lighting the lamp, focusing on defense. We saw the Boston Bruins hold the Vancouver Canucks to 3 shots on goal in the first period last night. Yes, second night of back-to-back, but I think that first period is where their strength comes. If Boston loses this game, Boston loses it late to the Isles as that defense gets tired. Now, I do think the Isles team total under 2.5 because of their lack of offensive production is a really solid play at plus 120. The first period under 1.5 in the game, under 5.5 goals at minus 120, unless we get that complete lapse in the third period by Boston. Anders Lee is where I'd look for the Isles for the anytime goal at plus 210. David Pastrnak for the goal for the Bruins at plus 125. The Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets. You guys, I'm going to take Shane Monahan for the anytime goal at plus 200 here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to take over 3.5 goals for Columbus at minus 118. They've been scoring 17 goals in the last 3 games, only giving up 11. Now, Patrick Laine is traveling with Montreal. Will he be back in the lineup? Huge question marks. If he's back in the lineup, take him for the points tonight. I do think he comes out on fire as soon as we see him back out there on the ice. Cole Caulfield for Montreal. He's going to want that bounce back after they lost in OT last night. Plus 200 for Cole Caulfield for the anytime goal. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers. Mitch Marner has been flying out there for Toronto. We also look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews expected. I don't think he's back in this one. I don't see them starting him before Thanksgiving versus the Florida Panthers. I think Mitch Marner, you look at, he's been so hot for the gold, plus 230, 2+ points at plus 176, 35 career points versus the Florida Panthers in 26 games. So this is a team that he plays really strong against. I'm going to also look at Verhaeghe here for the Florida Panthers. So the anytime goal at plus 230. I think we see a lack of defense between these two today. I think this one has the opportunity to go in overtime at plus 340. I'm not going to take a side, but I do think 4-3 over style game in overtime decided by these two teams. The Calgary Flames versus the Detroit Red Wings. Give me the Red Wings here at minus 110 on the money line to get it done versus the Calgary Flames. Calgary hasn't been strong in that dog roll on the road, losing their last 7. And I think Detroit is playing strong as long as Detroit stays out of the box. If they're in the box, I'm playing scrappy. Calgary is going to play a strong game on the power play and convert because it's one of the weakest kills here for the Red Wings. So as long as the Red Wings and Cam Talbot can do what he's done versus Calgary in the past, the Red Wings get the win. The Vancouver Canucks versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. I can see a storyline where Pittsburgh is able to get the win here, but what I'm liking more, both teams to score in the first period at plus 154. The over 1.5, it's kind of juicy at minus 134. If you want to bet it, I wouldn't blame you. I do think this one can go to overtime, plus 310 to go to overtime. The last 4 meetings have all been within a goal, and 2 of those 4 have gone to overtime. So plus 310. Like I said, you guys, when you're looking at odds, we are cashing those plus 310s on the overtime bets. The plus 350 and plus 380 is the normal overtime odds you're getting. When they limit it to plus 310, it's a buy for me right away. The Washington Capitals taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Washington, I think, has the ability to roll into Tampa and get the win. I love the plus money we're getting with the Washington Capitals here in this game. If you believe in that first period for Tampa, I would look at them there because the first period at home as a favorite, they've been strong, winning their last 4. They won the last meeting back in October at 3-0. But I like how Washington's been playing on the road, winning their last 5 road games. We're getting plus money on this team. I'm buying. The Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Nashville Predators. I think the Predators win here at home. Again, the Capitals on that reverse puck line, you guys, before I forget to tell you, the reverse puck line plus 285 for the Washington Capitals. I think they can win it by 2 goals. Pucking crazy, I know. The Philadelphia Flyers versus the Nashville Predators. Predators win at home, covering the puck line minus 1.5 at plus 138. Yes, these 2 teams have played in tight games. We've seen the Nashville Predators win 4 of the last 5 meetings. I think they win this by 2 goals. So the Preds. The Dallas Stars taking the Chicago Blackhawks, upset of the night. Give me the Chicago Blackhawks plus 198 on the money line. Give me the Chicago Blackhawks over 2.5 goals at plus 108. I'll put a half unit on both of those. Give me Connor Bedard for the anytime goal at plus 280. The Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Colorado Avalanche. You know, if the Avs are to bounce back, it's led by Nathan McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon for 2+ points tonight at plus 120. I'm also going to look at Vegas and Colorado to both score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 148. If you want to lay the 1.5, the over for goals, over 1.5 goals in the first period, it's juicy at minus 150, but it should come in. Because again, I'm thinking both teams score in the first period. I think this is an over 6.5 game as well. Players I'm liking, Jack Eichel for the anytime goal and Jack Eichel for the first goal for the Vegas Golden Knights. First goal for Vegas being Jack Eichel's plus 600. First goal or anytime goal for Jack Eichel plus 165. Rantanen for the first goal here for the Colorado Avalanche at plus 470 and anytime goal at plus 110. Again, those first goals for a team, they don't have to be the first player to score, just the first player for their team to score. You're going to double your odds if you take them for the first player to score, though. I don't like the first player to score. The Winnipeg Jets and the LA Kings. Give me the Kings here at home at a pick'em price to bounce back off of that loss versus the Sharks. Kopitar for 2+ points. It should be a lower scoring game. The problem is if the Kings win this, the only player that's really stepping up offensively is Kopitar, so I could see a goal and an assist out of him, 2 goals or 2 assists. So Kopitar 2+ points at plus 285. The Anaheim Ducks and the Seattle Kraken, these teams play tight battles. The Ducks have covered the puck line in their last 7 games. We just saw this matchup. Seattle won 3-2. I think we've got the same thing. So if you want to take Seattle in reg, I don't blame you. This could push to overtime. I don't love this game. So Seattle and reg, probably the best bet. And then the Ottawa Senators and the San Jose Sharks. If they're giving us the Sharks as a $2 underdog, I'm going to bite here. The Ottawa Senators haven't covered the puck line in their last 7 as a favorite. I think this is a higher scoring 4-3 style game. Could this one go to overtime? Absolutely. This could be another overtime game. Give me the over 6.5 at plus 114. Give me the overtime bet at plus 380 between these 2 teams. Allmark needs to stand on his head in some of these games. Allmark does not looking like the Allmark of the past from Boston. No goalie ever does as soon as they go to Ottawa. I don't even know why. And then the San Jose Sharks, Mackenzie Blackwood has played stronger than expected in a lot of these games. The Sharks have been playing strong at home. The Sens haven't been playing great on the road. They haven't been covering that puck line as a favorite on the road either. So Sharks, money line. is where it's at. If you want to just take them on the puck line, I don't blame you. Kopitar, 1+ points. McKinnon, 1+ points. Kyle Connor, 1+ points. And Bedard for 2+ shots on goal. Scott, I love where you're going there. Let us know what value you're getting on that. I can completely get behind that bet. Again, you guys, that's Kopitar, McKinnon, Connor, Kyle Connor, all of those players for 1+ points, and Connor Bedard for 2+ shots on goal. Okay, let's do the 4-goal parlay. I like that. Okay. Four players for a goal tonight. Ooh, okay, you guys ready? That was the recap, the players for the goal tonight. You got to look at Toffoli here on the Ottawa Senators. Or sorry, he's on the San Jose Sharks, but like getting the goal on the Ottawa Senators. So Toffoli for a goal tonight. I love you. Celebrety's really been stepping up, but Toffoli is that workhorse out there. He brings the veteran presence, and he's not that old, but you know what I mean out there. I would also look at Monahan of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like Monty at home to be able to get the goal. So I'm going to take Monahan for the anytime goal. I think Kopitar gets it, but it's the Winnipeg Jets and Kyle Connor, so I don't want to throw that one in. If the Ducks are to get a goal, it would be Troy Terry. Don't really want to throw that in either. I think I like Rantanen for his goal, and I like Nathan MacKinnon for his goal. Let's put Nathan MacKinnon, though, in there, because Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, he's going to put the weight of that team on his shoulders tonight. And then Connor Bedard. I really believe in Connor Bedard strong tonight to be able to get that anytime goal, you guys. I think it is such a solid way to go here. I know he's facing a strong team, but I think he should be able to get on track. Roman Josi for the Nashville Predators as well. I like Josi for the anytime goal. There's so many players I'm liking. So if you do a combination of those, Tyler Toffoli of the San Jose Sharks, Monahan of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche, Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks, and Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators, I think you are in to make some money tonight. Now, Yossi's hard because we know the Predators don't score a lot, and the Bruins have been, not the Bruins. Who are they playing again? The Flyers. The Flyers can lock down on defense, but they still allow those shots to come in. So I think Josi can get on the board. He has 17 points, 4 goals, and 13 assists. So maybe just a point for Josi tonight. I really do like Toffoli, MacKinnon, Monahan, and Bedard, all for goals tonight. You guys want to know? Yeah, Bedard. Okay, so Scott is rolling with Kaprizov, MacKinnon, Kyle Connor, and Bedard. So everyone except Bedard is for 1+ points, and Bedard for 2+ shots. That's coming in at plus 205. So I like where you're going with that one, Scott. I think it's a great one. And of course, yes, Binghamton for his save shots on goal, over 28 or 29.5 save shots on goal for Binghamton tonight. I love it. If we just build that parlay, let me know. Let's see what it works out to be. Okay, so the goal scorers tonight that we just built, you guys. Tyler Toffoli is plus 220. You got to look at Batherson there for the Sens as well. I'm not going to put it in this parlay, though. So Tyler Toffoli at plus 220. Let me just get Monty's price here. Monahan is plus 200 for the anytime goal. Again, I like Caulfield in that game as well, but I'm not going to put this in this 4-leg parlay for Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon has to come. I really like Rantanen, but Nathan MacKinnon, one of the most competitive players out there on the ice. Let me just find this game and his value. He should answer in this game. So Nathan MacKinnon plus 135 only to get the goal. The books think he's getting it. Rantanen coming in at plus 120, and then Connor Bedard. So of the Chicago Blackhawks, his anytime goal, you guys, is coming in at plus 290. So when we try to put all of those in the parlay, let me just remove. I've got Seth Jarvis and Sebastian Aho for their points combined. Don't forget about that one. I really love it. It's coming in at minus 101. They're too juiced for their points separately. Let me just take Sebastian Aho out of that. The Washington Capitals alt puck line, it's up to plus 300 now. For that alt puck line on the Washington Capitals, you guys, I am jumping so hard. Okay, so Toffoli, Monahan, MacKinnon, and Bedard, all for a goal. Guess what they're giving us? Plus 86.98. Plus 86.98 for those anytime goals for those four all combined. Again, take them separately, you guys, if you want to sprinkle a little bit on the parlay. We always know there's one leg. The weakest link, I think, out of these, I almost think it's Nathan MacKinnon, right? If we put Rantanen in instead, he's coming in at plus 120, Nathan MacKinnon at plus 135. I almost think it's him because I could see those assists coming for him tonight. I am taking him for the 2+ points. So Toffoli, Monahan, and Connor Bedard, the three playmakers I feel best about getting those goals tonight. Nathan MacKinnon, I think you could throw in there, but I like his 2+ points more. So I think Paul Caulfield can get on the board, though, and Batherson for the Ottawa Senators. I think there's so many goals out there tonight that we can capitalize. Again, Rowan Josi as well for the Predators, but you got to look at Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg there. Should be a night. It should be a night of great goals. Let me know where you guys are going with your favorite goal scorer today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me here on Puck It with Jo on the daily. If it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't exist over on SportsGrid TV on X on the daily. So I appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving Eve to all my American friends that are tuning in, to the rest of the world watching, because I know there's people from Australia and South Africa that do tune into this show, as well as over in Europe. And actually, a couple of people have watched from Asia. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in on the daily. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, a wonderful Thursday. We'll be back on Friday again. There's no hockey tomorrow, nothing to talk about. Robinhood would benefit versus a parlay with a sprinkle. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Scott, all the way from Halifax. Scott, it's nice to see you here today. Okay. So back on Friday, noon Eastern. I will be on the grid, though, tomorrow, 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern with Tom, and we're going to be talking Thanksgiving Day football, the games that have happened, as well as live betting those games that are in action. We'll be talking the Friday slate for college football as well as NFL, and then Saturday and Sunday's games. So make sure you join us over there. Again, 4 to 8 Eastern, and then on Friday I am noon to 2 Eastern on the grid as well. So I'm going to have to shift this show a little bit on Friday. I will let you guys know. It should be the hour before. There's just so many games that might have to be a little bit earlier. So I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much for joining me here. Again, I appreciate each and every single one of you. You're the best. Thank you. And let's make some freaking money.